Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something very close to all of us: how we see ourselves. Too often, we limit ourselves by what we think we can or cannot do. We compare ourselves with others. We focus on failures, and we forget that our potential is much greater than our current reality. The way we see ourselves is the foundation of everything we do in life. It is not merely a thought in our mind. It is the lens through which we experience the world. If you look at yourself as someone small, limited, or incapable, the world will reflect that belief back to you. You will hesitate to take opportunities, you will doubt your decisions, and you will unconsciously act in ways that confirm your negative self-image. On the other hand, when you start to believe in your abilities, when you see yourself as someone capable of learning, growing, and achieving, everything changes. You begin to notice opportunities where before there were obstacles, and challenges become invitations to prove yourself rather than threats to your confidence. Think about the first time you tried something new, whether it was learning a new skill, speaking in front of a crowd, or taking a risk. Most of us have felt that inner voice whispering, "I'm not good enough. I can't do this." Or, "What if I fail?" That voice exists for everyone, but the difference lies in whether we listen to it or challenge it. Self-perception is like the operating system of your mind. It determines how you respond to every situation. If your internal image is one of doubt, hesitation, or inadequacy, your actions will naturally align with that image. You may never try, or if you try, you may give up too early, confirming your belief that you cannot succeed. But when you actively choose to see yourself differently, when you decide that you are capable and worthy of success, your mind starts to align your actions with that new belief. You begin to take risks, persist through failures, and find creative solutions that would have been invisible before. It is also important to understand that self-perception is not static. It is shaped continuously by your thoughts, experiences, and the people you surround yourself with. If you constantly compare yourself to others or focus on your shortcomings, your self-image will shrink, and you will feel trapped by imagined limitations. But if you start noticing your small victories, if you celebrate your progress and acknowledge your potential, your self-perception expands. You see yourself as someone who can grow, someone who can overcome challenges, that someone does values that are defined by external validation. This idea is simple but powerful. Your reality is not determined only by circumstances or luck. It is heavily influenced by how you see yourself. People who achieve extraordinary success often do so not because they had an easier path, but because they believed in their ability to succeed when others doubted them. They see opportunities instead of obstacles, and they act with confidence even when the outcome is uncertain. Changing the way you see yourself is not about arrogance or overconfidence. It is about replacing self-limiting beliefs with empowering ones, recognizing that you are capable of far more than you have allowed yourself to imagine. Failure is often seen as something to fear, to avoid at all costs, or to feel ashamed of. But the truth is that failure is one of the most powerful teachers you will ever have. Every successful person has faced failure, sometimes repeatedly, and what sets them apart is not luck, but the way they respond to it. When you fail, it is easy to focus on the disappointment, the frustration, and the doubt that creeps in. It is easy to let a single setback define you, to convince yourself that you are not capable or that your dreams are impossible. But failure does not define you unless you allow it to. Every failure here is showing you what does not work a guide pointing out areas where you need to learn, improve, and grow. It is not the end of the journey, but a necessary part of it. Learning from failure begins with shifting your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" or "What is wrong with me?" you can ask, "What can I learn from this experience?" or "How can I use this to become stronger?" When you approach failure as a lesson rather than a verdict, it becomes a tool for growth. Every mistake you make contains information you would not have discovered otherwise. Perhaps you discovered a flaw in your plan, a skill you need to improve, or a different approach that works better. By examining your failures closely, you gain insight into yourself, your strengths, and your weaknesses. You become more resilient, more adaptable, and more prepared for the challenges ahead. It is also important to understand that failure is rarely final. Many people give up after their first setback, believing that success is reserved for others, not them. But history is full of examples where persistence transformed failure into success. Imagine if the innovators, entrepreneurs, and leaders who changed the world had surrendered at the first sign of failure. They did not stop when things went wrong. They analyzed the situation, learned from their mistakes, had tried again with new knowledge and determination. Each failure became a stepping stone, each mistake a lesson that brought them closer to their goal. The key is not to avoid failure, but to face it, understand it, and extract its wisdom. Failure also teaches humility and empathy. When you experience failure, you understand what it means to struggle, to feel disappointment, and to persevere despite difficulty. This understanding makes you more compassionate toward others, more patient in leadership, and more aware of the effort required to achieve meaningful goals. Failure humbles you, reminding you that growth is a process and that true achievement comes from persistence, reflection, and continuous improvement. The moment you embrace failure as an essential part of the journey, it stops being a source of fear and starts being a source of strength. It becomes a teacher, a motivator, and a guide that shapes your character and your abilities. When you learn from failure, you do not just survive challenges, you transform them into opportunities, and you equip yourself to reach heights you never thought possible. Believing in your strengths is not about arrogance or pretending to be perfect. It is about recognizing the unique qualities and talents that make you capable of achieving great things. Too often, people focus on their weaknesses, comparing themselves to others and feeling inadequate because they are not as skilled, smart, or experienced as someone else. But the truth is that every individual has strengths that are entirely their own, qualities that no one else can replicate. When you shift your focus from what you lack to what you already possess, you create a foundation of confidence and resilience that allows you to take on challenges with determination. Believing in your strengths begins with self-awareness. You must take the time to identify what you are good at, what energizes you, and what comes naturally to you. It might be creativity, problem solving, empathy, leadership, or persistence. These strengths are your tools, your personal resources that you can rely on when obstacles arise. When you fully acknowledge and trust in your abilities, you begin to approach life with a mindset of possibility rather than limitation. You stop underestimating yourself and stop letting fear or doubt dictate your decisions. Instead, you learn to leverage your strengths to navigate challenges and achieve your goals. It is equally important to embrace your strengths even when others do not recognize them. Many people wait for external validation before they act on their abilities, seeking praise or approval before they dare to take risks. But waiting for recognition limits your growth and delays your success. True belief in your strengths comes from within. It is an internal confidence that allows you to trust your instincts, take initiative, and pursue opportunities without fear of judgment. When you rely on your own understanding of your abilities, you become more self-reliant, more courageous, and more willing to innovate in ways others might not imagine. Believing in your strengths also means using them to overcome challenges and compensate for weaknesses. No one is perfect, and everyone has areas where they struggle. But when you know your strengths and trust them, you can find creative solutions, adapt to circumstances, and turn potential setbacks into opportunities for growth. Strengths amplify your impact and help you create results even in difficult situations. For example, someone with strong communication skills can influence and inspire others even if they are less confident in technical expertise. Someone with resilience can persevere through failure, even if they encounter repeated obstacles along the way. The process of believing in your strengths is ongoing. It requires reflection, practice, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. Each time you trust yourself and act on your abilities, your confidence grows, creating a positive cycle that fuels future success. Over time, this belief becomes a habit, shaping how you approach life, how you respond to challenges, and how you inspire others. When you truly believe in your strengths, you see yourself not as limited by circumstance or comparison, but as capable of creating meaningful impact. You embrace challenges with optimism, pursue opportunities with confidence, and approach life with a sense of purpose. Belief in your strengths is not just a mindset. It is a way of living that empowers you to take control of your future and realize your potential in ways you may have never imagined. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act despite it. Every person experiences fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear the unknown. But the people who achieve greatness do not let fear control them. They acknowledge it, understand it, and then choose to move forward anyway. Fear is a natural response, a signal that something important is at stake, but it should never be a reason to stay still. Acting with courage means facing challenges, even when the outcome is uncertain, and daring to pursue goals that others might consider impossible. It is the force that pushes you beyond your comfort zone, enabling growth, innovation, and progress. Courage begins with small decisions. It is often easy to think of courage only in grand gestures. Speaking to a large audience, starting a business, or making a major life change. But in reality, courage is built in everyday choices. It is the choice to try again after failing, to speak up when your opinion matters, or to take responsibility for your actions. Each act of courage strengthens your confidence, reshaping the way you see yourself and the way others see you. By consistently choosing courage, you train your mind and body to respond to fear not with avoidance, but with determination. Courage also requires honesty with yourself. You must recognize the fears that hold you back and understand the root of those fears. Are you afraid of being judged, of losing comfort, or of making mistakes? Once you identify these fears, you can confront them with intention. Courage is not reckless. It is measured, deliberate, and informed by awareness. It allows you to take risks while minimizing unnecessary danger and maximizing your potential for growth. Every courageous act, no matter how small, is a step toward transforming fear from a barrier into a motivator. History is filled with examples of courage in action. People who have changed the world From entrepreneurs to activists to artists have faced doubt, criticism, and uncertainty. What separated them from those who gave up was the willingness to act despite fear. Courage allows you to pursue your vision, innovate when others resist change, and persevere when challenges seem insurmountable. Without it, talent and skill alone are not enough to achieve meaningful success. It is courage that transforms potential into reality. Importantly, courage is contagious. When you act boldly, you inspire others to do the same. Leaders, innovators, and visionaries demonstrate that fear can be faced and overcome, creating an environment where growth and progress are possible. By choosing courage, you not only change your own life, but also influence those around you, setting an example that encourages others to take action, embrace risk, and pursue their own dreams. Ultimately, courage is a mindset and a practice. It is the understanding that fear will always exist, but will not define your decisions or limit your potential. Each time you act despite fear, you strengthen your resilience, expand your capabilities, and create new opportunities. By prioritizing courage over fear, you unlock your ability to achieve, to inspire, and to transform your life in ways that would be impossible if you allowed fear to dictate your path. Persistence and passion are two of the most powerful forces that determine success in life. Talent alone is rarely enough, and luck is often fleeting, but the combination of persistent effort and genuine passion can overcome almost any obstacle. Persistence is the commitment to keep going even when the path is difficult, the results are slow, and the challenges seem endless. Passion is the driving force that makes that persistence sustainable, giving energy and meaning to the effort. Together, they create a mindset that refuses to accept defeat, that sees every challenge as an opportunity, and that fuels the long-term pursuit of goals that truly matter. Persistence begins with a clear vision of what you want to achieve. Without a sense of purpose, it is easy to give up when obstacles appear. But when you are passionate about a goal, setbacks become temporary, and failures become lessons rather than endpoints. Each time you try again after falling short, your skills improve, your understanding deepens, and your resilience grows. Persistence is not simply stubbornness. It is a deliberate choice to continue moving forward, learning from mistakes, and refining your approach until progress is achieved. It is the refusal to be defeated by circumstances, criticism, or temporary setbacks. Passion, on the other hand, fuels persistence. When you are passionate about something, work does not feel like a burden. The effort, the long hours, and the sacrifices are easier to endure because your heart is fully engaged in the process. Passion gives your work meaning and connects it to a larger purpose. It transforms challenges into exciting problems to solve and turns obstacles into tests of creativity and determination. When you combine passion with persistence, even the most difficult tasks become achievable because you are motivated not only by results, but also by the intrinsic satisfaction of engaging in meaningful work. Persistence and passion also reinforce each other. Persistence allows you to stay committed during tough times when passion alone might not be enough, and passion keeps you energized and inspired to continue when persistence alone might feel mechanical. Together, they create momentum, and momentum is essential because progress, especially meaningful progress, is rarely linear. It is achieved through repeated efforts, continuous learning, and the willingness to adapt without abandoning your ultimate vision. Many people fail not because they lack talent, intelligence, or ideas, but because they give up too soon. The world favors those who keep showing up day after day, driven by both determination and love for what they do. Finally, persistence and passion create confidence and inspire others. People notice those who refuse to quit and who pursue their goals with enthusiasm. Your commitment becomes contagious, attracting support, opportunities, and collaboration. Over time, the combination of persistent effort and passionate dedication shapes your character, strengthens your skills, and opens doors that would remain closed to those who abandon their goals at the first sign of difficulty. When you embrace persistence and passion, you understand that success is not a single event, but a journey. It is the consistent application of effort fueled by purpose, belief, and love for what you do. These qualities turn ordinary people into extraordinary achievers, and they transform challenges into milestones on the road to greatness. Change is one of the most powerful forces in life, not only for yourself, but also for those around you. When you choose to change the way you see yourself, the way you act, and the way you approach challenges, it has a ripple effect that reaches far beyond your own life. People are influenced by what they see, and when you demonstrate growth, courage, and determination that inspires others to believe that change is possible for them as well. Change is contagious because it shows that limitations are not fixed, that obstacles can be overcome, and that personal transformation is within reach if one is willing to take the first step. To inspire change, you must first embrace it yourself. This requires honesty and self-awareness, a willingness to examine your habits, beliefs, and behaviors, and the courage to acknowledge areas where improvement is possible. Change begins with small intentional steps, each one reinforcing your ability to evolve. Even minor adjustments in attitude, mindset, or action can accumulate over time to create profound transformation. When people witness you making these changes, they see that progress is not only achievable, but also empowering. Your personal evolution becomes proof that growth is not limited to others. It is something that everyone can pursue. Change inspires change because it demonstrates possibility. Too often, people feel trapped by their circumstances or believe that their limitations are permanent. They look at the world and assume that success, happiness, or fulfillment belongs to someone else. When they see someone else actively changing, someone embracing challenges, learning from mistakes, and pushing forward despite fear, it challenges that assumption. They begin to question their own self-imposed limits and recognize that transformation is attainable. Your actions, your courage, and your persistence serve as a living example that personal growth is not theoretical, it is practical and achievable. Furthermore, change encourages collaboration and collective progress. When you show a commitment to growth and improvement, others are naturally drawn to your energy and mindset. They become motivated to examine themselves, to adopt new habits, and to pursue their own goals with renewed determination. In this way, change does not remain isolated. It spreads, creating communities, teams, and even societies that are empowered by example. Leaders, mentors, and innovators often achieve success not only by their own efforts, but by inspiring change in those around them. Transformation in one person can spark a movement, and that movement can reshape organizations, communities, and cultures. Finally, embracing change demonstrates resilience and adaptability, qualities that are essential in a world that is constantly evolving. Life will present challenges, uncertainties, and unexpected shifts, and those who resist change will struggle to keep pace. But those who are willing to evolve, to adjust their mindset, and to adopt new strategies are the ones who thrive. By showing that you can transform yourself, You teach others that change is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It becomes a message of hope, empowerment, and action. If one person can change, so can